Alright, I've got a drawing screen up here. Hey, and Gopher is here tonight. Hey, Gopher.
Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. I'm Kel McDonald. I make comics you can read at kelmcdonald.com.
And I'm Alina Pete. I make comics that you can read at wheregeek.com or alinapete.com. What's going on here?
And we're drawing stuff.
We are drawing
What are
stuff.
you drawing, Alina?
I am drawing. Right now, I'm gonna just draw. Probably us, because that's my usual thing to start off the stream. And then I've got an old doodle of a tiger dragon that I may clean up and ink because it is Chinese New Year. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy
Yeah,
Lunar New Year. Yeah.
Lunar New Year. It's going. My stream seems to not actually be going. What the hell?
Oh no.
Or at least my replay of it is not showing that it is going. What is happening?
Huh.
Nope. I can see it on here. Cool. Cool, cool. I am live. That's good.
Yeah.
Good to know. I just can't see it on the phone, but maybe I'll just use that for my chat. I'll just use my phone for the chat. That's all I need. Right, I'm going to draw a wolf in a tiger suit.
Good. But those are good decisions.
Good.
A lot of people I know have been posting DS9 fan art, one of which is the ambassador guy from the Dominion.
Yep.
Celebrating Lunar New Year.
Oh, good.
All these posts are making me be like, man, I should rewatch DS9.
Me too.
This is the good shit.
I've been seeing a lot of DS9 stuff being posted lately, and I'm like, I do need to do a rewatch of that because I've not watched it in some time.
Yeah.
Also, I've been seeing a bunch of the Picard season 2 stuff, and I'm just generally nostalgic for some Star Trek right now.
I just am like, it's fitting to watch DS9 now because that's when this year is supposed to be when the Bell riots happen.
Yeah,
I believe
that is in fact. We were talking about that in my writer's room the other day.
Yeah.
We're like, it's the Bell riots. Oh boy, you know that time when people's capitalism wealth gets too crazy, and then the populace has to rise up. Yeah, that time. There's Kel. Hey, and I'm going to draw a bird, also in a tiger suit.
Is there a tigery bird that you could draw?
A tiger bird? I mean, there's all kinds of birds with stripes. I was calling my linnies, my little stripy butt birds today, because they have spotty butts, but they kind of look like stripes.
Good.
My little spotty butt birds.
I got new mangas to edit.
Oh, cool.
One of which is like Hunter in Another World and his hot elf wife.
Nice.
Like, that's the title. I love these
that's literally the
long
title.
Descriptive titles.
Man, that's been a theme for a while.
It's like a Japanese light novel thing, and then a lot of these mangas that have the super long titles are like manga adaptations of the thing that started as a light novel. So yeah, so if you see a super long title, it's probably because it was a light novel first.
All right, this is a very goofy drawing. I'm already done it. It's very bad. It's also hourly comic day, and I took one look at my schedule for today, and I was like, nope, that's not happening. I got other things I need to accomplish. But I've been enjoying seeing everybody's hourly comics.
I'm a curmudgeon and don't care.
Good. Good. I used to get really into them. Like I like plan my week around it. It's like, oh, it's hourly comic day. I gotta do something cool. Gotta be out doing something in the world. And I'm like, whatever. I have a job,
Yeah.
and I'm not getting paid for this, so
Every
I
every
will.
time it's like, oh, it's 24-hour comic day or it's hourly comic day. It's like I have other comics to draw.
Yeah. This is free labor, and I'm not really getting
Yeah,
anything from it, and it's a lot of work. I'm tired. I'm tired, and
I
it's the
have
middle of
other
a
things to
pandemic,
draw.
and I'm grumpy.
I have werewolves to draw. And that's my comment on 24-hour comic day.
I really love seeing other people's free or hourly comic day, though.
Yeah. Um,
Very much a fan.
I like Blue Delaquanti cheated and did hourlies today, but they are what Blue did hourly last Sunday.
Ah, smart. Then you know, and you can get ahead, and you're not like waiting for the next hour.
Hmm.
Oh, Kel, do you know a real light novel called Seriously Seeking Sister? Ultimate Vampire Princess just wants little sister. Plenty of service will be provided.
No, I don't know that one.
Gopher suggested that as one of the major long titles that he has come across, and it's long.
Uh, Gopher, if you don't know, I am currently an editor at Seven Seas, so I am editing a bunch of mangas.
Yeah, with very long titles.
If that one is good, then maybe I should suggest it to Seven Seas to try to get the license.
Nice.
Um,
He
but
says that's cool. He didn't know.
I
You're a professional, a manga editor.
yeah. Um, and I'm like, maybe I should learn Japanese so I can get some stuff.
Do some of that. It's hard. I mean, it's not super hard. I took 2 years of it in high school, and it's very regular. It's very easy to learn, but the vocabulary is dense.
Well, it's stuff like there was a mistake in one of the books I edited,
Mm.
um, and I didn't catch it because it was a character's name.
Oh, gotcha.
That was spelt wrong, and so like, um, yeah, so it was like, well, I don't know what
What the
those
character's name is
kanji
supposed to be
mean,
spelled.
and
Yeah,
yeah, so I don't know how to check that other than, well, cool, I guess that's
yeah.
the character's name, because it was like consistently wrong.
Oh, gotcha.
So uh,
5 seconds before a witch falls in love. Do you know that one, Kel? That one's from Seven Seas.
no,
Ah, that sounds cute. I really like that
no.
one. I really like it as
Uh,
a title. The nice thing
for
about
right
those sort of
now,
long format titles are it's like it is the elevator pitch. The elevator pitch is just the title of the
yeah,
book. If you like that, pick
yeah.
it up, read it.
Uh, right now, the one that I like is How a Realistic Hero Saved the Kingdom.
Mm.
That one is about a dude is isekai'd, um, and he's summoned to this fantasy world, but is like a government bureaucrat. Um, and it turns out that it summoned him because like the spell they do is supposed to be like uh give us whatever like the kingdom needs to
Right.
be rescued.
And what they need is
And
an
it turns
accountant.
out like what they need is infrastructure basically because they're like having a famine. They haven't
That's
maintained their roads
good.
really well.
I like
Like
that. I like
they've
that
been
infrastructure is the
they've
way
been
to
spending
forward.
all their yeah they spent all their money on war. So
Yeah.
like the
The bridges are
guy's like
failing.
okay yeah yeah
What?
exactly. So
What?
he's
A
shown
country that
he
spent all its money on wars and now its bridges and infrastructure are failing? I don't know a country like that
yeah
at all.
um And so yeah, so it's stuff like there's a famine, so he like had a chef like look at the local food, like local plants that are like edible that
Right.
people maybe aren't eating because they're not used to it. So
Mm.
like
He's like, you need more
um
vitamins in your diet.
well
Eat a
it's less
plant.
right now it's more they need more food in general. So it's
Right.
more like we're going to eat these bugs and here's a good way to prepare them.
What, their
So
infrastructure's
it's
falling
just
apart
stuff like
and people are starving in the streets?
yeah.
Huh.
Um
Hmm. Hmm. Stares directly at the United States.
yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, also Japan.
Yeah, it's true.
No. It's not doing anything crazy like saying
And Canada, to be
healthcare is
obvious, except we
important.
didn't spend our money on war. We just don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, okay. Um, it's nice to have him be like, okay, this is how we're gonna work with this fantasy infrastructure. He also has to figure out how to do modern day infrastructure things when
Yes.
the technology is medieval.
Yeah.
Um,
God, first thing I'd be working
but
on is
they
like,
have
right, sewers. Let's do some sewers.
well they have sewers because like so the thing is like they have magic,
Right.
so the question becomes like okay, what is magic sufficiently replacing because it's common enough.
Right.
um so like he one of the things he does is he builds them roads, and he has these trees planted along the roads because they're like magic trees that like I guess um psychically put out a repellent force to animals.
Oh, interesting.
um
So you can keep like
so
deer from running across the road or monsters out of
yeah,
the forest.
basically.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah, so uh and then he's like, but we're gonna put like regular gaps of these trees
Right,
so
so the
that way
migration can still happen.
like yeah.
So we're not like
um
extincting species just because we don't want them to come out of the forest.
right, exactly.
Smart.
um, yeah, so that's why that one's my favorite, because it's like boring economic shit in a
Oh,
fantasy
I love
land. I'm
that.
like,
Please
yeah,
give me more
tell me
of
more.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of my favorite
um
books is The Goblin Emperor. And it's like,
yeah, it's really good.
it's so good. It's so good. And a lot of it is like, let's talk about infrastructure in this fantasy kingdom.
It's
Like,
also
please, yes.
there's like the political intrigue,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
which is
he
good.
doesn't fail for being a nice person,
No, and it's actually being a nice
which
person is what helps him.
yeah. uh
Mm. Gopher says that
yeah,
the time I
Goblin
got
Emperor.
reincarnated as a slime has a bunch of that sort of thing. But Realist Hero probably
I
goes a bit more detailed on the infrastructure. I haven't seen
Yeah,
when I was
no,
reincarnated as
no,
a slime, but it's on my to watch.
I felt teased by reincarnated as a slime because they're all
Mm.
like, we're gonna build a monster city, and then now we've time jumped and the monster city is built, and I'm
Aw.
like, that
I could watch one that's just
teasing
about
me.
building this monster city.
Yeah,
Please give me details of that.
yeah. Um, there were several things in the slime anime that I thought was interesting, but that then got glossed over.
Mm. And you're
Like
like, no,
how
no,
do you
give me
build a
more of
monster
that.
city?
Yeah.
Another thing they did that was like I feel like, oh, maybe they're doing this, but then they just didn't.
Hmm.
Slime guy uh
Good
is
old slime boy.
slimes don't slimes don't have a gender.
Right, yeah.
But he was a big pervy anime nerd
Right.
before getting turned into a slime, so he wants to see the elf titties. But then he kind of like only is pervy in what feels like he just remembered that he should be pervy.
Right, because he's now
And
like a
I was like,
non-binary
oh,
slime creature.
yeah, he's now not a non-binary slimy creature that doesn't have any reproductive organs, so like so it's all mental, and I
I wonder
thought
if
maybe they were going to
slimes
talk about that.
reproduce by budding. Are they like
Yes.
are they like slime molds?
They're like giant amoebas, I thought.
Yeah. So yeah, the budding. I want to know more about slime biology now.
So anyway, so I thought
Give me the
like, oh,
phylogeny of slimes.
so is his perviness all mental? That would be an interesting thing to explore.
Yeah.
That his sexuality is now all because he remembers having a sex drive.
But it's more of like
No,
a
it might
yeah,
just be the author remembered to put the boobies in.
maybe I need an excuse for it.
Or like it might even be like less. Maybe the author didn't even want the boobies in. It was like the editor's like, you gotta put some boobies
There
in.
needs
He's like,
there, there
okay,
needs to be some elf boobs in
boobies
this.
here, back to, yeah, boobies
Yeah.
here, now back to the plot.
Yeah. We need to
Um,
move some books. Please include elf boob.
yeah, so it's kind of yeah, that I feel teased by
Yeah.
slime.
By the
So it
very
wasn't.
mention of infrastructure but not actually on screen.
Yeah, and the mention of where is sex drive lie,
Yeah. Mentally or
and then they don't follow up with it.
physically.
So
Interesting. There's like, here's a cool concept.
is there
We're not going to go into that.
and the one isekai, I the thing that did explore the sort of they remembered to be horny idea is another isekai called Jobless Reincarnate,
Mm.
which is not for everyone because there is definitely some iffy shit in there. But it's like intentionally iffy. Um, so the main character was a big pervy anime fan um, who was killed, um, and he was like a shut in. So he gets reincarnated in a fantasy world. Um, and it starts with him as a literal baby.
Oh, I think you were telling me
Like,
about that.
yeah. And so when he is like a baby, he keeps trying to steal the maid's panties and like underwear stuff. Um, but then like realizes um this is not as satisfying as it used to be. Like he realizes there is a mental and bodily disconnect and
Right,
that
right.
maybe he is doing it out of habit.
Interesting. Oh, I'm having some sound issues here. I'm just checking my connection, making sure everything's functioning like it's supposed to. Nope, it is not. I was on Wi-Fi instead of my actual like plugged-in connection, so should be fixed now.
Okay, so should be fixed now.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
that's
just had
good.
to jiggle the cable. It had come loose a little bit.
Okay. Well, it's all good now,
Yeah, fixed.
hopefully. But yeah, so like, it kind of gets into that, and it's sort of as he unlearns it, since he is a child, like it has been less pervy. Like there's still a little bit of perviness, but it does kind of feel more intentional. Like
Mm.
we're discussing him as a human in Japan versus what he is, him being like a
What he is
wizard.
now,
And
like a child
yeah,
in this world. Interesting.
because the other thing, like not just the sexuality, to show that it is clearly just an intentional, like we're discussing him them versus him now, is he was a shut-in, it turns out, because he was agoraphobic.
Ah,
from severe bullying at school.
Right.
So when he's a kid, he doesn't want to go outside, and then doesn't want to leave his yard,
Right.
his
Because
family's
there's
yard.
bullies
So
out
they have
there.
to, yeah. So he has to like
Oh.
and then his parents in this fantasy world are like they don't know why their kid doesn't want to go outside.
Right.
Um, so he has to overcome his trauma.
Huh.
Um, that
Do we
made
have audio
him.
again? It said it dropped again, but I'm getting good readings on my OBS.
Yeah, I'm getting good readings on my OBS too.
Cool. And my cable's still
So
connected there. I'm wondering if it's my headset. I may have to
is
try
it
reconnecting.
Gopher commenting on your audio
Yeah,
being
yeah. Said it was okay for a moment, but dropped again.
Huh. Gopher, do you want to try my stream? Because we're doing our dueling streams.
It says my connection
You
is
can.
unstable.
Yeah.
Why? Because now I am fully connected. Nope, says my connection is excellent. Weird. Hopefully. Maybe try refreshing the stream. I logged out on my phone and logged back in. It seems to be giving me some good audio now, which is weird because I can hear myself talking. I hate to hear myself talk, but I will do so to fix my stream.
It's bad. Bad times.
Yeah, no, it's no good. Oh, it's all the dysphoria. I hate it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Gopher has us both up now.
Sweet.
So Gopher might be able
Gopher's
to
got
see
us
if
in
it's
stereo.
maybe your stream.
Yeah.
Or if you, yeah, Gopher can see.
Sweet.
Maybe it's Gopher's connection. Hi.
We're just figuring out this whole thing, this whole stream thing. So my obsession this week, remember how I said a couple weeks ago that I picked up Cyberpunk at Christmas time? And I was like, oh yeah, AAA games, I'm not really big in the like lots of titties in your face and also got all the headshots forever because I'm not that kind of gamer. I am now obsessed with that game. I love it so much. Cyberpunk. I got into the story. I got into the meat of the story, and oh my god, it's very good. It is very much my jam.
With the Keanu Reeves and all that?
Yes. So I don't know how much of it you know about.
I know the whole story.
Where you're like
but
your character is slowly turning into Keanu Reeves because there's this experimental chip inside your head that you had to do to get some money. And it had to be like in a containment case, which broke during your run. So your friend shoved it in his head, and now it's in your head.
Keanu Reeves is in your head.
So Keanu Reeves is in your head, and it's really cool because like he's there all the time, and he's kind of pixelated. But like if you were walking down the street, you won't see him, and then you'll like notice he's like leaning up against a lamppost, staring at you, and you're like, ah, God, stop looking at me, Keanu, Jesus Christ. And then like you start seeing him more and more and more often, and then there was a scene that I just played the other day where he actually like you wake up in a different part of the city and you're like, how the fuck did I get here? And like the game kind of implies that he carried you, but the whole time I'm like, he can't carry you, he's not real, he's just a voice in my head. And then you're like, oh, he took over my body and he ran me here, that's how he carried me here. That's yikes. I don't know if I'm cool with this. So I was already like freaking out from that. And then there was this really cool scene where, so there's this person who's been sent to talk to you about a job from one of the people. And she walks in and you're really worried about her. So you're kind of trying to keep your gun trained on her and like keep your crosshairs on it. And so you sit down at the table with her to talk. And one of the arguments that my character and Keanu Reeves had been having. So brief aside, Keanu Reeves' character in this is an asshole. He is a misogynist. He's an egotist. He's just a shitty person.
I
love it.
Review I saw of it summed up his character as Keanu Reeves' character.
Yes.
Um,
Johnny Silverhand.
yeah, he thinks the revolution is worth dying for, but it's not worth living for. So he doesn't want to do
Yes.
the hard work to
Yes.
make the revolution
Yep.
happen. He wants to go out and
In a
blaze
blaze
of
of glory and
glories.
not have to deal with it. Correct.
So yeah.
And my character has
Um,
been like fighting alongside this group of like sex workers to try and keep them safe, and generally doing all these like really like somewhat like I hate corp. I haven't been taking any of the cop missions because there's a
mhm.
bunch of missions from the cops, and I'm like, nope, nope,
Nope.
not this
Yeah.
one, nope.
So
Mm-mm.
so the streamer that I really like, Sophie from Mars,
Mm.
did a very long review of Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And how good it
they did
is.
not like it.
Oh
They did
no.
not like it because they felt it was all missed opportunities.
Mm.
Because um, it's like, so they're the one who describes Johnny as being like, the revolution is worth dying for but not worth living for.
Yeah.
um and it's kind of felt, Sophie's criticism of it was that it's very much in line with capitalism realism.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um
Yeah.
so like, there is no alternative. Like, Johnny is the one who wants revolution, but his revolution won't work because it's just one big grand action
Yeah.
and
And I
like
mean, part of
nothing
that is
else.
because of the like themes of despair of cyberpunk, where it's like it's a capitalist
Yeah.
hellscape, you can't escape it.
And then they felt like a lot of it was, they're like, you're reminding me of better games I could be playing instead of this one.
Mm,
But they also played it before all the bugs got fixed.
yes. There's
So
it's there's been a bug or two for me, but not enough. Not like it was when it first came out, where I heard it was just like,
they
wow, it's
they
all
have
crazy go nuts, nothing's
they
working.
have a they have a montage of all the bugs that are happening in their first 4 hours of playing.
And you're
um
like,
and they're talking over the bug montage, talking about like how crunch is bad and
mm-hmm,
like how that's morally reprehensible of the gaming studio.
mm-hmm, and it
um
like
and
ruined people's lives. Like
yeah.
they
uh but
ruined the
but
relationships, and
so
then they got fired at the end of this production. So I'm already slightly conflicted about this game, about how capitalism ruins people, knowing that the game literally ruined people's lives.
Yeah, so Sophie goes on this whole big like explanation of the horrible
Yeah,
crunch
yeah.
that was going on, and this Sophie talking about it takes like 10 minutes, and then Sophie goes and the montage is still
Oh
going.
no.
And then so Sophie isn't even like explaining what's happening in the bugs.
Right,
You're
right.
just
It's just
watching a
looking at the
montage of
bugs.
like, yeah,
Oh, it's not been that
and
bad for me. For me, it was like
yeah,
one time an NPC wasn't there to trigger this plot point, so the plot just fizzled out, and so I just reloaded and then kept going, and it was fine. And then another couple times it's been like, oh, there's a car floating. Okay, just walk around it. But
yeah,
the writing bit that actually got me, that was the whole thing that I was like, oh, that's actually really good. So my character and Keanu Reeves have been fighting about he really wants me to smoke because he smokes and my character doesn't, and I've been like, no, fuck off, Johnny. I'm not gonna smoke just because you feel like it. You don't even have nicotine cravings. You're just literally getting me to do stuff to see if you can.
yeah,
So fuck off. Uh, so there's this moment where this NPC comes in. She's talking to you about this job, and there is on the table in front of you a lit cigarette. And Alina, I was actually like, shit, am I smoking now? Have I started smoking? Because I didn't give permission to have that happen. What the hell? Oh God. And so the whole time she's like delivering this important plot stuff to me, the only thing I can think about is this lit cigarette. And I'm like, that's not mine. That can't be mine. Oh, I hope there's a dialogue option so I talk to Johnny about this. Oh God, I'm so pissed off at him. And at the very end of this, she gets up, she takes the cigarette with her, and you realize it was hers all along. And I was like, oh, well played, writers. Well played. You got me. I was
yeah.
invested in that.
The other thing that Sophie didn't like, as far as this is too capital realism,
Mm-hmm.
is they Did you look into the fortune telling machine that has all the vaguely leftist bullshit that it says?
No, not yet. I have that as one of my like to-do plots, but I haven't
Okay.
followed it up yet.
Basically, Sophie was very angry at the end of that
Mm.
storyline. And also the storyline, and angry at the storyline, how the saving the sex workers storyline ends too.
Oh no, I'm in the middle
Um,
of that one and I really enjoyed it. I'm angry preemptively.
without spoiling it, basically there is no alternative other than
Mm.
capitalism is their
Mm-hmm.
main complaint.
Right.
Um,
Ugh. Well,
uh,
we'll see once I get to that one. I'm going pretty hard on it because my character definitely has a crush on the character that is the head of that plot, Judy. Uh, and yeah, so we'll see where that goes. Um,
mhm.
I am playing as a female-voiced runner, which means that Judy is actually interested in you, so that's cool. But that whole thing, I was like, oh yeah, I really love like body swap storylines and or
Mhm.
parts where you're not sure that you can trust your faculties, like where you're like, did that thing actually happen? I can't tell. My brain is an unreliable witness. I love fiction like that. And I was like, oh man, I gotta seek me out some fanfic with this because this is scratching an itch I forgot I had. This is fun. So yeah, I'm enjoying that game now. It also helps that because I am not an old school first person shooter, I don't play those games very often. I've now gotten to a point
Mhm.
in my melee where I can pass all the combats without having to do guns. I can just like, I'm gonna super speed run up to your face and then fight you with my claws.
I usually in games don't like guns,
No.
but I do like bows and arrows.
Mm, I
Um,
that was what surprised me about Skyrim. I thought it was like, oh, it's like a first person shooter, but you have a bow and arrow instead. And then I was like, I'm actually having fun with this.
but in Skyrim, I was all snipering people with bows and
Yes,
arrows the whole
me too.
time.
I was a
Uh,
tabaxi assassin, and I would just wander around and snipe people.
what's funny is I don't know if you've heard Spike's thoughts on the cat people in Skyrim.
No,
Um,
I guess Khajiit, not
she
tabaxi.
she yeah she prefaces it with she understands why they don't do this because that makes coding a little bit harder,
Mm-hmm.
but so there's a big deal about how the other Khajiit are not allowed in the cities,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
you can just wander the
Once in.
fucking
Mm-hmm.
with your main character powers.
Mm-hmm.
And so Spike is all like, my immersion.
I want to have to sneak into the cities.
Yeah, just give like one extra thing, and then since you're the Dragonborn, you get special status.
Yes,
So,
exactly. And I see this Judy comic because I'm obsessed with Judy. Thank you for the link, Gopher.
Gopher, please also put that in my chat so I can see.
Oh no, confused gay
Uh,
Panam. I'm so sad you can't romance Panam. I do like her. I am playing through some of her plots right now, and they are fun.
you can romance her if you are a dude.
I am not in that game. I am playing
Yeah,
the female voiced V.
because they did a girl love interest for girl V and boy V, and
Yeah,
then a boy love interest for girl V and
yeah.
boy
There's
V.
also a male love interest for male V, and then one love
Yeah.
interest is just both. That's the thing. They never make you change your gender, but there is male voice or female voice, and male voice is treated
Yeah.
as he, him, and female voice is treated as she, her.
Yeah. So yeah, so they kind of did the thing where it's they
There's
kind of
no
did the
non-binary option. There continues to be
yeah.
things about the game that I, of course, am still sort of like very eye-rolly about. For example, I have been on multiple missions now where you have to rescue a female character and then like carry her out in your arms and see her boobs flopping around in your face. Although none since that first one where she was naked. And then there's also been
Um,
one or two ones where you have to go and rescue a male character, but he always walks out under his own power because I guess it would be
uh,
too gay for a male
there's
character to carry a male
there's
character.
also uh I saw someone making fun of the way the male sex workers all dress.
Yes.
Um, because they're just like they look like nonsense people. Like it's very clear like that all the female sex workers are supposed to be sexy.
Yep.
And they talked to someone who is attracted to women, so they knew how to make the female sex workers appealing. And
Mm-hmm.
then with the guys, it's like I don't know, give them like a see-through shirt
Yep.
and
Mm-hmm. And
yeah.
make him walk kind of girl sexy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yeah, it's I'm like, yeah, I can tell there was not a lot of females bodied people on the art
or
department
or
because
or even gay men,
yeah,
like
or
just
even gay
anyone who's
men.
attracted to a dude.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. I know. Okay, so Dave Gator, the writer from Dragon Age, is gay
uh-huh.
and apparently had to fight really, 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 really hard to get Anders and a couple of the other characters to be attractive for male folks as well, because he was like, no, 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 no. The art department seems to not even slightly understand what I'm going for here, and like had to bring in a bunch of like reference of like actors' faces that are attractive to men, and the art department was just like, we do not understand even slightly what. We're scared.
I mean, I've seen Dorian's weird handlebar mustache.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't 100% trust his judgment on
Oh no,
what
it
he finds dudes to be
no,
sexy.
and apparently that was like one that was not well done either. Like the whole thing was sort of like I don't think I made myself clear here, y'all. Y'all. The art department was trying maybe a little bit, but they didn't do it. They didn't get there.
um then uh I think what's funny is I remember there were Glenn Keane's notes on Aladdin,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and he was like, so we had two choices of what to go with.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the one that was easier to draw, or the one that was hot.
Yup.
And of course, we picked the one that was hot.
Yup.
Like, we had to
Yup.
do the one that was hot.
Yup. He's not easy to draw, but attractive. Oh, Gopher, me too. I forget what it's called. But have you heard of this game, Kel? It is a adventure musical. It's the latest one
uh,
from Dave Gator's new company,
no,
Chorus.
I have not.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. It's like fully a musical, and like some of the ways that you fight and get past things narratively are by musicaling at your enemies and outperforming them.
Cool.
I love it. I think it's gonna be real fun.
Um, I don't play a lot of games, honestly. I usually
Mm.
play like one game and then play it for a million hours.
Yeah, me too. I like to hyper focus on a game.
um,
It's my favorite.
but I've been replaying Skyrim and I found a fun thing.
Hmm.
You know how they tell you to go like real early in the game when you get that first dragon soul that you absorb? It's
Yep.
because you go to that one tower that a dragon attacks.
Yeah.
If you never go to that tower,
Yep.
dragons can't spawn. So I'm going to see how much of the game I can complete
With 0 dragons.
with zero dragons.
Good. Excellent.
Um,
God, that was my last Christmas game. Like not this previous Christmas, but Christmas like 2020. Christmas 2020 was a dark, dark Christmas. I was not in a good space. Um, And so, as part of my way to cope with everything that was going on, I downloaded Skyrim and then played like so much of it, like so much. And I got a bunch of like mods, and yes, that game now has a special place in my heart. But it's a very coping sort of place.
I was
It's a
telling
comfort game.
someone that Skyrim to me is deer hunting simulator because that's really all I do in Skyrim
Mm-hmm. I
is
like
hunt
to run
deer.
around as my sneaky cat assassin and just get up to hijinks. I steal all the cinnamon buns I can find, or sweet rolls, and I'll like leave
Um,
some in other people's pockets just because I can.
yeah, I'm just running around being sneaky,
Hunting some
hunting
deer,
animals.
cool.
Yeah,
I did the werewolf storyline because of course you got to do the werewolf storyline.
yeah.
It's good.
And then do you have the vampire DLC?
No, but I want to buy it because I got to fight some
Uh,
vampires as a werewolf.
I would do that one really soon. Like
Mm.
after you get it, like I would like ever when I played and had that in there, vampires just get so annoying until you do the quest. So I actually did like the vampire DLC super early
Right.
because it's like
Vampires are so
I
annoying.
yeah, they're just jumping you like every
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Especially if
I
you're a
get it.
werewolf, they're like, I hate you. I'm gonna
No,
bite your
this is
face.
like you haven't even picked a side yet.
Oh,
Like the game
jeez.
just started and they're attacking you like every 5 minutes.
Like, what is with all these vampires?
Can't do it. Too many.
All the goddamn vampires. Yeah, so now I like take my werewolf into a den of vampires and I just shred them all because that's fun.
Um, there's a ring that you can get,
The Ring of Hirsine?
which well, there's another ring that lets you get
Ooh.
health back from eating people. So if
Oh,
you
good.
get that one and the
Oh,
ring of
good. I'm excited
piercing,
about that one.
you can have double health back while werewolf.
Good, good, good. And just eat everybody.
hmm
Full on cannibal wolf.
Um, and you should definitely marry Ayla the Huntress
Yes, she's the
because
best.
then you can be werewolf lesbians
Mm-hmm.
together.
And I very much would like that. Yes, correct. I am working on romancing
Um,
her in my game.
and by romancing her, just putting on the romance amulet and going, "Hey, let's get married."
No, I like actually doing her quests and stuff. I stopped for a while because there was a mod NPC that I downloaded that I was trying to romance, and then I found out you couldn't romance him, and I was like, well, screw that. Go back to Isla. He was also a cat. I was like, I would like a cat companion for my cat.
Yeah.
And then he was
Well,
not
see, you
romanceable, and I was
can't.
like, well, damn.
It's because your wife or husband is supposed to go into your house, and if the cat people can't go in the house,
I guess.
I mean, can't go in the city,
Can't go
they
in the
can't go
city.
in your house.
But I want a house
So,
cat. I want a house partner and also a house cat. They're two in one deal. How do tiger feet go? They are white. Yes.
uh, I like drawing Connor's face.
Nice.
It's all pointy.
Why can't I see your stream? Oh, there it is. I just minimized it. Now I can see what you're drawing. Time for some lighting effects on this tiger dragon noodle, or tiger noodle. I am not super into horoscopes or anything, but I will occasionally check them just for fun. And
Mm-hmm.
mine was like, you need to go camping this year in May. And I was like, that is a very specific horoscope. But
Yeah.
also, I was already kind of planning to go camping this year, so good idea. We did not go camping as much as we wanted to last summer because, COVID and everything. But I
Which is
really, really miss
odd
it.
because, actually being in the middle of the woods is a great place to be
No, but that
to
was the
avoid
thing.
a pandemic.
So we couldn't get any campsites because everyone was like, "Oh, well, outside is safe. Let's go camping." And
Oh,
like it was literally like if you haven't booked a campsite last year, you can't go anywhere. There's no campsites available anywhere. So we were like, "Well, we didn't book one last year because it was 2020 and we didn't know if we could even go outside. So now we can't go camping because there's too many people in BC." But this year, hopefully, we can go further afield and actually get a campsite. May also try some kayaking,
I
like sea kayaking.
I'm just thinking of Sophie's video about Cyberpunk now because there's a bit where um they talk about how a lot of other Cyberpunk things get referenced, but
Mm,
like it's just like a reference and like that's it. Like that's it. There's the reference. Do you get it?
right, right.
So it's like, yes, I too have seen The Matrix. Yes,
Yes.
I too have seen Blade Runner. Yes, I too have seen The Matrix.
Yes,
And it's
correct.
just like them copy pasting on top of one another. Like a as they say, I too have seen The Matrix. So like
Yes. Mm-hmm. Ah, this is straight out of Neuromancer.
um and then like there's um a shop that you go to that's Marx with an X, like get it, Marx, because
Mm,
Karl
mm-hmm.
Marx.
This is the
And
Mark's
then
store. It's
yeah,
Mark's
and
work
then
warehouse.
yeah, and then there's a burger, Gramsci burger,
Mm-hmm.
and Gramsci is the guy who talked about like capitalism co-opting
Mm-hmm.
the revolution to
Yep.
sell back to people. Um, so it's like, yeah, like fast food after Gramsci got it.
Yep. It's corrupt corporatist hellscape. I get it. I got it. You're selling me on that.
But it's also like you're not saying anything with that
No.
reference. You're
You're
just
not
making
like
it.
full
Like,
on Disco Elysiuming it,
yeah,
where you can actually be like a philosopher cop, which is pretty fun.
yeah,
I am the art critic cop in that game. Boy, does that give you some good dialogue options.
yeah. I like when you try to get paint from the other
Yes.
communist in the
Yes.
game. Um, if you actually succeed in properly explaining what you want to paint on the wall,
She's actually pretty cool with
um
it.
no, she goes, shit, man, that sounds rad. I don't need competition. I'm not giving you any paint.
Good. I like that she never gives you the paint.
You can make her feel bad for you and give you the paint
Aw.
if you're a sorry enough cop.
Yeah. She's like, God, you're sad sack. I guess. Have my paint. God, go away. Bringing me
Also,
down.
like, I love in that game Kuno.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. I
because
figured you would
he's
be a big
like,
fan of Kuno. Kuno is just
well, it's also
amazing.
like he's also written really well, like
Yes.
because okay, so he doesn't know how to react to you if you aren't like trying to posture and intimidate him.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Because he's just a little
because
shit.
because
He's
because
just a shit. It's so good.
if you successfully break into his house,
Yeah.
you see that he has a weird pig head thing in his shack.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
And you're like, what's
and
that about,
you can
Kuno?
and one of the responses you can give him is, "I got a pig head too," and you point to your own head.
Oh, good.
He doesn't know what to say to that. Like you cheerfully insulting yourself. He's like,
I
okay,
do
and
the
he changes
insults.
the subject. Yeah, he changes the subject because he doesn't know how to deal with someone who isn't trying to like dominate him.
Oh, that's very good. I like when you can out Kuno Kuno. He's like, dude, you're weird.
Yeah.
Don't get you, weird cop.
Uh,
It's a good game.
Kuno's like Kuno's dad. He don't give a fuck about anything.
It's the combination of the voice actor they got and then that stupid portrait of him. This is this snub-nosed little shit of a kid. It's very, very good. Ah, the art in that game is gorgeous.
Did you make Harry gay?
I tried to. I don't know if I did
Okay.
all the right combat dialogue options because he's just kind of weirdly asexual in my playthrough, and I'm not sure
Oh,
how I got there.
the way you get Harry to ponder the homosexual underground
Mm-hmm.
is so you talk to the man on the balcony,
Yes.
and there are dialogue options that like, why is he always leaving me, Kim? He's what? Why is he so beautiful? Like you can
Oh,
like
I think I
express
got some
like
of those because
yeah. So
I
you
think
do all
he.
those,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then Kim kind of snickers about you saying those things.
Right.
But then like the next morning he's in the food court area and you can ask him about the homosexual underground,
Oh, good.
but
Oh, I
only
didn't
if
get
you
that
pass a
option.
yeah, so you have to pass a composure check because
Oh,
he's just
okay.
too beautiful.
He is. He's very
Um
beautiful.
yeah. And
I think he gave. I didn't get that dialogue option, but when I was in his apartment, he like gave me his robe. So I now
yes.
have this
That
beautiful silk
happens
robe that I wear around everywhere.
that happens no matter what.
Okay, good.
But yeah, so it's like the next morning you have to talk to him and ask him about the
Oh
homosexual
no,
underground.
I didn't get that. I have to do another playthrough.
And then if you do that, you can then ask Kim if he is a member of the homosexual underground.
Right. Good.
To which Kim responds, I will save you the 24 hours of pondering. Yes, I am a member of the homosexual underground.
Oh, good. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
You've got you've figured it out, Harry. You're a dumbass.
Uh, Now maybe you can ask him to kiss you.
Good. Here's my good
I
tiger
ship it.
dragon. I also. All right, we go focus on those eyes, and then we're just about done this guy. We'll highlight on the nose.
But I really like though. He's so beautiful. Why does he keep leaving me?
So forlorn. I love the fact that there's like a whole bunch of dialogue options where you're like, I am not ready to be myself yet, so I am going to pretend that I am literally anyone else.
Yeah.
His dedication to that character and that bit is very good. It's very strong. I also really like when the whole plotline about finding out what happened to your car.
Yes. That's very
I
good.
was not prepared for that, and then I was like, oh shit, oh good, oh
I
no.
mean, it makes sense. He is
Yes,
a drunken mess.
yes, I loved it. I loved it a lot, but I was not prepared for it. I had to sit back in my chair after playing through that. I was like, of course. Oh, that's very good.
I'm in Mel Gilman's hourly comic,
Yeah.
where Mel Gilman and I play. Um, is we recently watched the movie Clifford, starring Martin Short.
Mm,
It is a movie full of the most baffling decisions.
okay.
Um, So, in our Mel Gilman's hourly comic, Kel and I explain the plot of Clifford, and it has Melanie going. So Martin Short is a 40-year-old man playing a 10-year-old boy, and it then has a quote coming from my Discord icon. His first act is to nearly crash a plane full of people. He is also horny for his 40-year-old aunt. Uh, and then Amanda is like, so it's not about a big red dog. Do you
Good.
know about the movie Clifford?
I do not.
It is a movie that is baffling. Like I said, uh,
This good old Tiger Noodle is
me,
done. I'm going to do a slow zoom.
uh, Mel Gilman, Shinkor,
Mm-hmm.
and Blue Delaquanti all watched it recently.
Oh, good.
Like in we did like a Discord movie night.
Yeah.
Um, because Blue found like an article on Vulture, like read an article on Vulture that was like interviewing the people who made this movie.
Mm.
Blue was like, "This sounds like a train wreck that I must see." So we all got together and watched it.
Good.
Poor Shing thought we were gonna watch Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Because it was like, let's watch
Uh,
Clifford together. It's like, okay.
yeah. Um, uh, it is I don't know why a lot of like these are like it's a movie that is made of baffling decisions.
Right.
Um like there's a framing device on the movie
Yeah.
which is Martin Short's character Clifford is a priest in 2050.
Okay.
He is trying to help a troubled boy not be like a troublemaker anymore by sharing his own past as a troublemaker.
Right.
Then we get to the main story where Martin Short is 40 and playing a 10-year-old boy who is
For
horny
some
for
reason.
his aunt.
For some reason.
For some
This is
reason,
occurring.
the plot is that he wants to go to a dinosaur themed amusement park.
Okay.
Um, and it starts with his dad has like a
But it's Martin
business trip.
Short. But all the
Yeah.
other characters see
Uh,
him as like a 10-year-old?
Yes, they all act to him like he's a 10-year-old. So
Okay.
he wants to go to a dinosaur amusement park, and his dad has a business trip in Hawaii, and he is like, Dad, let's ask the plane to stop in LA on the way to Hawaii.
So I can go there.
Um, he is told planes do not work like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he then asks to meet the pilot, like plays up the like I'm a curious 10-year-old boy who
I'm cute.
wants to know about flying planes. And then he immediately like hits a bunch of buttons and flips a bunch of switches randomly in the
To try and get
cockpit.
them to
The
stop.
plane almost crashes. So
Cool.
they have to emergency land in LA. He is obviously not allowed back on the plane. So, but dad has to go to his business trip in LA.
Right.
So he is left with his uncle. And uncle agrees to take Clifford in
This
because
is the
he
same
does not
uncle
know.
with the hot aunt.
He does. He does not. The uncle does not know that Clifford is the literal devil, and
Right.
because he has not spoken to Clifford since Clifford was baptized.
Right.
Um,
Good.
and
Good.
so he also that his aunt is not really his aunt. It's like uncle's fiance
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
has doubts about the two of them getting together
Right?
because he doesn't like kids enough.
Mm.
Um,
So the uncle is trying to prove he's
and
like, I can deal with children.
prove
Look at
that
this child. I
yeah,
will take
he's
care of.
trying to prove that not knowing that he has agreed to have the literal devil in his home.
Great. Good.
Um,
Good. Who is
uncle
also,
has to go.
for no reason,
Yeah,
a 40-year-old man.
yes. Uh, uncle has to go to work, so he cannot immediately take um Martin Short to Dinosaur Land, which is the name of the theme park. Um, so what Martin Short's little boy character does is take a recording of his uncle talking,
Mm-hmm.
splices it together, and um uh makes it sound like his uncle is making a bomb threat,
Oh, great. Cool.
and
Yep.
then
Mm-hmm.
calls the police and has the recording of his uncle make a bomb threat. So
Cool.
he frames his uncle for terrorism.
Good. Good. That's a reasonable response.
Um and then he steals another child's clothing.
Okay.
Um because that child was on the way to Dinosaur Land with their family.
Right. And now he's all jealous.
Um and he was dressed as a dinosaur, so his face would be covered, so he was going to pass himself off as this other child. um
Right. I feel
and
like
then
the choice of having Martin Short play the child is if there were an actual child played this awful, awful character, you would feel still like, oh, but look, a cute kid. He's kind of Macaulay Culkin. He's just a little rascal. But the fact that it's a 40-year-old man doing around there, you're like, no, this is not cool. None of this is good.
especially because he stole another child's clothing.
Yes.
um
That's
and
that's
then
weird.
but what I feel like but then he's horny for his uncle's
Yeah,
fiance.
that's
So
weird.
like if they had an actual child
That
play
would be a
Clifford,
problem. That you could not do that.
it would be weird. Yeah.
No, no, no. Like you
So
couldn't.
this
I don't think. I don't know how there's a whole bunch of rules what you can and can't have children do in a movie, and certainly a child that
mhm.
young would not be allowed to play a part like that.
So also his uncle, the thing that his uncle is working on is designing a public transit system
Hmm.
for LA.
Interesting.
So it is also theorized that so Clifford gets his uncle fired by blowing up the model of the transit system in LA. So
Mhm.
it is Clifford's fault that there is no public transit in
In
Los
LA. Yeah.
Angeles.
Mhm.
Um,
He's like the
and it
opposite
ends.
of Forrest Gump. It's like all of the awful
Yeah,
things. It's all this kid's fault.
yeah, yeah. So then, his uncle, he then like tricks his uncle into going to San Francisco. While his uncle's gone, he has a bunch of teenagers throw a party and trash his uncle's house
Cool. Good.
because then, um, then the teenagers will bring him to Dinosaur Land.
Somehow.
Um, but
But
then
also, that's Martin
that
Short.
doesn't happen.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
I'm trying to picture this now, and it
Okay,
is.
I'm
It's
gonna
throwing me.
pull
It's
up
throwing me.
I'll send you a link. Hold
Mhm.
on. It
I'm
is
gonna
it's
need
a
some
baffling
reference for
it's a
this.
It's a baffling movie in every way.
Wow.
Uh so it ends with his uncle finally breaking and almost murdering Martin
This
Short's
this
character.
this child who is a 40-year-old man for some reason.
Yeah. Uh
Good.
because he,
Good.
he takes him to Dinosaur Land when it's closed and almost kills him via roller coaster.
Ah,
Um
okay.
but at the
As
last
you
minute
do.
doesn't murder at the last minute doesn't murder him.
Right.
And because he almost died, now Clifford has learned his lesson that he's horrible.
Gotcha.
Um
He pushed it too
and
far.
he apologizes to his uncle, and like in any other movie from the early 90s, like they would make up
Yeah.
and there would be a sweet ending, and his uncle is like, "No, I don't forgive you. You are a horrible child and I never want to speak to you
You're a
again."
terrible
um
gremlin. Please
and
leave.
he's like, if you continue to behave this way, no one will want to speak with you ever. um and you get like a little he wrote letters apologizing to his uncle for months on end,
Yep.
and his uncle just did not reply.
Yep.
So it's like this is why he's telling this story to the troubled little boy at the beginning, to be like, yeah, if
Ah.
you're a shithead, no one will want to talk to you.
Gotcha. So
um
don't be as much of a shithead as I was.
Also, the little boy that he's talking to blew up a gym. So might be too late. Um
So part of this movie is like, look, children are horrible sometimes.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that's our
But yeah,
thesis.
I sent you the article that is um uh
It's a strange.
the history of making Clifford, and
Gotcha.
it has a picture of Martin Short as Clifford. It's a movie that's just baffling in like every way. Roger Ebert's review of it is like, it's almost worth seeing because there's nothing else like it and there never will be again.
Right.
I hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um
How very odd.
yeah, it is a weird thing. Someone replied to Mel Gilman's hourly comic thing with poor Amanda.
Amanda, unaware of what she was about to watch.
I mean, she didn't watch it, she just heard us talk about it.
Right.
So she got the better end of the deal.
Mm-hmm. God, I want to watch Star Trek now.
Yeah.
One of the
Not
jobs
because
that
it
I've been
also
doing.
has, yeah. I was going to say, not because it also has weird adults playing
No,
children,
no,
but
definitely not. But just I was just thinking about cinema generally and about the weird writing
yeah.
choices that go into making a movie like that. Which reminds me that I am
Yeah.
working on a sci-fi series as part of the writers' room. It may or may not ever go anywhere. We're still trying to shop it around to networks and stuff. But it has been a real
Mhm.
interesting process to sort of see how decisions are made writing wise for TV shows and why some decisions are made. So that's been super cool. I've been enjoying that a lot. But also as part of our research for this, we've been like watching a bunch of different sci-fi series and talking about different sci-fi series, and we all have slightly different points of reference, which is cool because that means that
Mhm.
then we have different things that we can contribute. But yeah, Star Trek is a touchstone that we keep going back to,
I
getting
I
some nostalgia.
so in Portland around the time I moved here, they I caught the tail end of a thing where they would do Trek in the Park.
Oh, cool.
So they would do like stage performances of
Ah,
original series Star Treks.
Yep.
which works really well because like it was such a cheap show
Yes, you could
that it is
do
very easy to
stage it in a
turn
park.
into a stage play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's so pulp. Pulp is cheap to shoot.
like the one I saw was them performing Trouble with Tribbles.
Oh, good. Oh, I like that. I was watching the episode with the brains. There's like brain creatures that come, and
Hmm.
Kirk has to deal with them. When I got my wisdom teeth out, and I was on nitrous oxide for the first time, and I could not stop laughing, even though my wisdom teeth were being pulled because it was such a ludicrous episode. These big, blobby, obviously fake brain guys. Very, very
Um,
funny when you are high on laughing gas.
my favorite episode is the Gangster Planet
Oh
episode
God, yes.
because
Oh
I,
yes.
I believe that has a lady pulls a Tommy gun out of her like baby carriage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good. An
It's good
entire
stuff.
Tommy gun.
Yeah. Like the only way it could be goofier is if the baby had a Tommy gun.
Yes. She opens the baby's. He opens the cover and there's a baby sitting there with a Tommy gun and a mustache.
Yeah.
Good. I love all of the next gen episodes where they are LARPing, where they're like, let's go to the holodeck and now we're gonna LARP because we can. LARP in space.
I love when Data accidentally makes Moriarty.
Yes, that was a good episode.
Uh, have you seen Only Murders Left in the Building?
No, I have seen previews for it. It looks really good. It looks like the sort of show I would watch.
Yeah, it was really fun. I was reminded of it because since we were talking about Martin Short's
Yes.
nightmare performance as
Yeah, yeah.
Clifford. Um, uh,
So freaking weird.
the one good thing about Clifford is actually their old age makeup was pretty good because so Martin Short as an old priest in the framing device
Mm-hmm.
is wearing old age makeup to make him look like the age he actually is now.
Huh.
Um, and he doesn't look that far off from the age he is now.
Interesting.
So I was like, kudos to that old age makeup on this very bad movie.
Yeah, they did that.
Um, Partly because old age makeup, I think, tends to like put slightly too many lines on a person.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Um, but Martin Short has a lot of like laugh lines since
Yeah.
he does all those big expressions.
Yo.
So he actually is a very wrinkly man. So
So it just kind of works.
yeah. Um, have you ever read film critic Hulk's book about writing?
No.
One of the things that I think is really interesting um, in it is it talks about like when to reveal a character's backstory. Like, um, you need to do it like depending on how long when you need the character to be likable. Like when you reveal a character's backstory is going to depend entirely on who the main character is because you have to make sure the main character is like likable enough that the audience will want to stick with them.
Yeah.
Um, and they
Or
compare
compelling enough that
fi-
them being awful is not a
yeah,
I'm just turning this off now and
yeah.
going away.
So they compare the comparisons they give are Finding Nemo
Yeah.
and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I love that movie.
Um, and they're like they're on different sides of the spectrum of when to reveal the backstory.
Yeah.
Because in Finding Nemo, if you don't know Dad's trauma about wife dying,
Yeah, it won't
then
make
he's being
as
an
much sense.
overprotective shithead to his son,
Yeah.
but you're supposed to empathize with him most of the story. So
Yes.
like
You
you
need
need
you need
that
to be on the
right
same
away.
page. Yeah.
Mhm. Whereas the opposite end of the spectrum is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles reveals John Candy's backstory and situation at the end,
Yeah.
because if they revealed it at the beginning, then it's Steve Martin sure is an asshole to this guy whose wife just died.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Instead of the comedy of like, there's this asshole who keeps messing with the
yeah,
yeah, and then you're like, oh, okay, I see why he was doing that. Okay. Yeah, I feel for him.
yeah, I see why he was emotionally needy is
Yeah.
and needed like,
To make this
but
man's life turn upside down so that he had somebody with him.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of like, so revealing that at the end makes Steve Martin's character not an asshole
Yeah.
through the whole movie,
Mhm.
whereas vice the opposite is true for Finding Nemo.
Yeah. Kind of recontextualizing the characters. It's
Yeah.
like we portrayed him as an asshole, but here's actually what was his motivation. Now you feel for him. This guy's almost done, I
I
think.
also think what's funny is the I listened to the director commentary on The Emperor's New Groove in college.
Oh yeah.
Um, and they talk about how like they had to rewrite the first scene with Cusco a bunch
Mhm.
of times to so he's still an asshole, but he's not too much of an asshole.
Yeah.
And it still wasn't quite working. So you know how Emperor's New Groove opens with him as a sad llama in the rain, but then
Yes.
there's a brief cut to him as a baby.
Yes.
That's because they were struggling with like people don't like this character. How can we make him more sympathetic?
Show him as a
What are the
baby.
two things that well,
People
no, what
like.
are the two things that are instantly sympathetic?
Yeah.
Sad animals in the rain
Yep.
and babies.
Yep.
So that's like literally um
What are some writing tricks we could do to hit you
doing
right off and be like, this guy is an asshole, but maybe
yeah,
I should stick with him?
yeah.
I mean, that whole movie was just a struggle to get made because it was supposed to be a completely different movie, a very serious
Yeah.
movie.
Have
And
you
then,
seen the Sweatbox?
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um I think the problem with the movie they were making
Mhm.
originally is that it was actually 5 movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're like,
It was
"Oh,
it was
we're going to
it
do a
was
Prince in the
vast in scope.
yeah." It was like cuz they were going to do a Prince and the Pauper thing.
Yeah.
They were also going to do like Yzma's power takeover. They were going to do
Yeah.
something with the Incan gods and the power of the sun. They were
I
also going
mean,
to like
I
have
I
a love
love
story in there.
yeah, I love the
Yeah.
idea of having this like Incan inspired story. That's super cool. I'm
Mhm.
I'm there for you with that. But yeah, they were trying to do a lot.
There's too much.
I still wish it had gotten
And
made
I
in some form like their original vision, although do love Emperor's New
mhm.
Groove. I'm glad that something came out of it rather than it just getting shoved away into the Disney vaults and never spoken of again.
Yeah. Um I also like Sting fixed the end of the movie.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
he still built his theme park. He didn't learn his lesson.
Nope.
Like
Nope.
he's just eroding someone else's mountain.
Exactly.
And
He learned a
then they
little bit of the
changed it so it's
lesson, but
just
he's
a
not. Yeah.
vacation home rather than a big theme park.
Yep. And he lets his
Um,
friends come there, so you can see that there's been some character growth. He has
yeah.
friends now.
Also, apparently Pacha's wife is the first pregnant lady ever in a
Yes.
Disney animated thing.
Yep. Correct. And they did that primarily because they wanted her to stand out visually more against Yzma. And so, like, well, if Yzma's the, like, awful crone witch, we need this, like, mother. And what's more motherly than a
Mm-hmm.
pregnant lady? So we'll make her
Mm-hmm.
pregnant. Because they wanted,
It
like, the
also
big
gives her a
round shapes.
distinct.
Yeah, they wanted big round shapes for her because Yzma's so angular, and they didn't want her to be fat because Patcha's fat.
Yeah.
So they kind of went, well, this is a compromise, I guess.
Yeah. I love Crunk, the OG himbo.
God, yes. Kronk is just an excellent character.
Yeah. Don't listen to that guy. He's gonna lead you down the path of righteousness. I'm gonna lead you down the path that
It
rocks.
rocks. Good. Do you remember when David Spade was in everything?
Yep, he certainly was.
He was in so many things. Where's that guy now? Who knows?
He's doing commercials.
Right.
Um, cause he's in a he. There's a commercial that pops up every time I watch YouTube that
Oh, really?
he's
That he's
the
in?
voice of.
And you're like, oh, there he is.
Yeah,
That's
it's
where he
some
is.
like
He's on YouTube now.
discount. It's some discount store ad.
Mm.
Um,
Alright, another dragon guy done. This is my artificer.
Yay.
Dragonborn artificer.
Good. I love those dragonborns.
Me too. Drawing some more
Good.
D&D commissions. His little feet.
I got the Discord I'm in to do a Discworld book club.
Yeah, you were saying.
Um, yeah, so I've been rereading Guards.
Nice. I like that one.
Uh, it's a good one.
It's very good. Is that the one that Rule of Boots is from? Travel
No,
Vibes, Rule of
that's a
Boots?
much later.
That's what I thought.
That's like from Thud or
Mm,
Night Watch, one of the later Guard books.
mm.
Because he realizes it while married to Sybil.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah. I think
and
Guards is just
Guards
where
is
it introduces Sybil.
yeah. Guards introduces the whole watch.
Yeah.
Except for the non-human members.
Yeah.
Um, then
What am I going to draw next? I don't know if I
and
have anything left to
Sybil is a
color.
crazy cat lady, but with dragons.
Mm-hmm. That would definitely be me if dragons were real. I would, because I'm a crazy bird lady or bird person. I have a lot of birds
Yeah,
that mess up my house and bite. Although mine don't bite. They're very small and very good.
well,
And also, I actually train them.
she also has a lot of money to like. She basically runs the whole dragon sanctuary.
Yeah, totally. No,
Um,
I know a
so
Sybil, because I know the person that runs the parrot sanctuary in town. And, whew,
mhm.
that is a lot of birds. We had a gray, at the sanctuary who learned how to mimic the doorbell. And so, as the volunteers, you were supposed to go and check the door in case there was deliveries or something. But this Gray delighted in making the doorbell noise and then seeing the volunteers come pounding down the stairs and would like just laugh at us. It was like, birds. Birds are too smart. It is a problem.
Shake fist at that bird.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Whenever I play Dragon Age, I always want to romance the idiot with a sword.
Mm-hmm.
So that was Alistair in the first Dragon Age.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was frustrated that you could not romance the idiot with the sword into um, Aveline or whatever that captain of the guard lady's name
Yeah.
is.
I think it was Aveline.
Um, and then I did 2 runs of Dragon Age 3. One was as a guy to romance Cassandra,
Oh, yeah.
and then as a girl romancing Cullen.
Mm.
This is the idiots with swords.
Idiots with swords. Have you read any of Ursula Vernon's Paladin series?
I have not. Do they got audiobooks that are good?
I don't know if they've got audiobooks, but basically the whole
That's
idea of them is
probably why I haven't.
probably
Yeah,
Ursula loves again like romancing paladins in games, but then also hates that they are all these like noble. I am tragic and I will save you, and was like, it would be really insufferable to have to deal with a paladin in real life. Like they are very, no, I'll lay down my life for
that's
you, and you're like,
that's
no,
that's
shut up.
why I like that's why I like Cassandra because you romance
Yes,
her by giving her porn.
yes. So it's this like series of books about the Order of Paladins, and each book is about a different one of the paladins, and they all have their own weird problems. It's very good. I enjoy them muchly. But it's basically like Ursula was like, I played a bunch of video games, and all of the paladins are idiots, and I do want to write a book about how idiotic these paladins are, which I appreciate. Other than that, I haven't watched a lot this week. Been mostly reading books.
Yeah, I need to get back into booking it up. I have a bunch of audiobooks I have not listened to
Mm,
lately. Because I have all these nonfiction books for research
gotcha.
that I need to finish. But I also got a bunch of the Witcher books.
Ah, cool.
Uh,
You were saying that you were reading the one that was short stories that were all like
yeah,
based on
I
different
finished the
fables.
short story.
Cool.
Yeah, I finished the short story one, and now I'm gonna get into the capital P plot.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Big plot.
which, yeah, And then I'm unsure if I will continue to like The Witcher now that we're done with goofy stories.
Mm-hmm. And into the actual serious plot.
Yeah. Though I'm here for his pro-abortion stance.
Mm.
I support him in his efforts there. Cuz do you know the whole major plot of The Witcher?
No.
Um so Ciri, the little girl that he picked up,
Yeah.
um is supposed to she is destined to give birth to like her baby is like going to be the chosen one, and whoever like her baby sides with is going to be the one who ends up like ruling the world.
Right. And she was told this
So
like
the
from when she was young.
no, she hasn't been told this, but a lot of
Oh,
people know
gotcha.
it.
Gotcha.
So you get like all these political factions eventually being like, "Hey Siri, how about you have a baby for our political group?"
Right. And then we raise it, and now we
Yeah.
have the chosen one.
Um yeah. So it's basically like, "Hey Siri, how about you have a baby?"
Mm-hmm.
Um and she's like, "No," and
No,
runs
that sounds
away.
awful. I don't
And
want that, actually.
and then um and then another group comes up and is like, "Hey Siri, what if you came with us and had a baby?"
She's like, no,
And
fuck
she says
off.
no, and she runs away. Um and it's basically the point is like all these political groups want to use Siri for her magic baby powers.
Right. And
Um
she's like, nope.
and his super pro-choice thing is like, yeah, and it doesn't fucking matter because she doesn't want to have a baby, so fuck off all of you.
Nice. Good.
That is his super pro-choice stance, like
Good.
no babies for anybody
If they
because
don't want them.
Siri does not want a baby and her opinion is the one that matters the most, so
Mm-hmm.
suck it everybody else.
Good. Also, what a good way to stop this awful
um
prophecy from happening where it's like, this could change the course of the world. It's like, well, the person to whom it's supposed to happen to doesn't want to have a child, so screw your prophecies.
mhm. Yeah, exactly. um And so, like, Geralt basically is protecting Ciri from all the folks that want her to have a baby.
Right. And would be willing, I'm sure, to do some unscrupulous things to make sure she does so.
Yeah. Um, and the point is made in the books, I know, that, like, even the people who try to, like, befriend Ciri first, like,
Are still
it,
using her.
they, yeah, are still using her. And it's still Ciri's choice above anyone else's.
Mm-hmm.
So
Good.
I don't know how much of that is going to make it into the Netflix show
Mm.
because they've already cut out some of the pro-abortion content.
Of course.
Um, which, granted, it was pro-abortion content that was kind of shoved in there haphazardly, and like, there's an argument that maybe they cut it because it was really ham-fisted and awkward.
Gotcha. They're like, yeah, no. Just as long as they weren't doing
Uh,
it to please their corporate overlords.
but it might be
Yeah,
that's why, so we don't know until this part comes up. So
gotcha. I'm trying out a new brush for this one. This is one of Ron Chan's pencil brushes, and I'm kind of liking it.
he does good
He
brushes.
does real good brushes. I want to try his side pencil brush next. This one's got just enough grittiness in it to kind of look like a pencil, while still being kind of inkerly. which I like.
Uh, the bit that they cut out of the Netflix show is there was that episode where Ciri's grandma is trying to trick Geralt into taking the wrong kid.
Mm.
Um, and in the books, when that happens, she gets into a like discussion with him that's like, why do you got to take kids with this like surprise thing, law of surprise thing anyway? Why can't you just like find some kids who like maybe their farm is having a famine, or
Mm-hmm.
like get
They got some
kids
kind of
that way? I'm sure you
problem.
get some kids that are willingly signing up rather than like this taking kids from their parents who
Yeah.
might not want to give them up. And she's like yeah, I'm and she says to Geralt like you know, your mom probably wanted to keep you, uh and like your law of surprise separated you from her. And Geralt's like, no, my mom abandoned me. um like she just dumped baby me on Witcher doorstep.
Right. And so I'm here
I don't know
now.
why she didn't. Yeah, and he's like, it's so like she gave me up so quickly. I honestly don't know why she didn't get an abortion. And then they have a whole conversation about how like abortions are great, and it's every woman's right to get one if they want one. And why are they even discussing this like any alternative is reasonable? Like they just have a very like ham-fisted
Discussion about it out of nowhere.
yeah.
I mean, props to him for just spelling it out. But yeah, that is a little bit like,
Yeah.
right, right. I'm gonna get up my soapbox for a
It's a
minute in the
little
middle of this show.
it's and one of the short stories starts with a witch and a king arguing about abortions, and
Huh.
the king flat out says, I don't like abortions because it makes it harder for me to control the populace.
Right. Well, yeah, there you go. That's saying the quiet part
Yeah.
out loud.
Yep. So it is not subtle.
Nope.
um and the whole like all these bad guys want Ciri to have a baby plotline
Yeah.
might feel jarring without the very unsubtle like, that's because right to choose
Is
is
a
the
is a big
most important
deal.
thing.
Yep.
Like,
That's
yeah,
a theme here if you haven't noticed. We're making that a
yeah.
central theme.
So yeah, I don't know how it's gonna go in the show because it might seem more jarring.
Yeah.
uh, put Connor on the wrong side of Maria. Boink. Now he's over here.
Almost inked on the wrong layer. Now I'm good. I
You
really
got
like this
any
brush.
good people in your chat? Any chatty people in your chat?
Nothing for a bit. Still a few people watching, but just
That's good.
chilling, just watching some art.
This is the thing I talked about with Joe when I was streaming with them last week.
Mm,
Have you read Pluto,
Pluto.
the manga?
No. I don't think I've
You
even
should.
heard of it.
It it's maybe the best manga ever made.
Wow.
Um, so you should read it.
Yep.
Um, it's a retelling of an Astro Boy story,
Oh.
which is like the world's strongest robot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am
Um,
familiar with Astroboy.
so it's a retelling of that. But the main character is the detective robot, not Astro Boy.
Cool.
And it's the um, uh, starts with like the murder of another advanced robot, and like someone is targeting the most advanced robots in the world. Um, there's a lot of discussion about robot feelings.
Good. Good.
Um,
Please tell me about robot feelings. I enjoy that.
my favorite robot feeling scene, and like might be my favorite scene in comics in general, is so you're introduced to Astro Boy's creator.
Yep.
Um, and he says Astro Boy is his greatest achievement, but also his greatest failure.
Mm.
Um, and then you find out like, so he made Astro Boy um, to replace his dead son.
Yeah.
And the scene is um, Adam, because
Yep.
that's his name
That's his
in
name.
Japan. It's not Astro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Uh, and I forget his dad's name, but they're having lunch.
It's like Professor or
Um,
something.
yeah, and they're having lunch, and he says, "What'd you do today at school? I mean, what'd you do today?" And uh,
Adam.
he's Adam says like, "Well, I cleaned my room, and then I found this really cool um, book about bugs, and I stopped cleaning because I got distracted reading about bugs." And he
Right.
says like some bug facts from the book. Um, and then he asks like, "Are you enjoying the?" I forget what they're eating, but it's something with vegetables in it.
Mm.
And he goes, "Yeah, it's really tasty." And then they sit there quietly. Um, and the boy that Adam was supposed to replace is named Tobiko.
Mm.
And he says Tobiko never cleaned his room. And like
Ooh.
Adam then stops uh, eating. Like it's that thing where he's like just holding it right before it
Yeah,
enters
yeah.
his mouth. And then he goes, "Okay, then I'll stop cleaning my room."
Aw.
And then he says, and Tobiko never liked what I cooked him for dinner.
Huh.
Um, and um, it's the whole like lunch scene gets super like awkward and tense,
Oh, man.
because it is like basically the professor admitting that he has failed because Adam is
Is
not his dead
not his
son
son
and
and
can
never will
never
be.
be his dead son.
Oof.
Um, and then Adam, he realizes he's been giving a bar that he can never live up to.
Yep.
Um,
That's great. And could never prove himself to
uh,
his dad.
and also like the things that he is doing, quote unquote, wrong are like he is being a good kid. Like he's cleaning his room and he's eating
Yeah.
his vegetables and
He's
like
he's not a real kid who would be messier and etc.
Mhm.
He's like the idealized
and
good son.
and and then it
Ooh,
ends with the
that's
professor
rough.
saying, "I'm pretty sure Tobiko hated me."
Oh no.
So like Adam can't, like, if Adam, like, returns affection to him, that's also wrong. Like, there's no way for Adam to win.
He's got
Uh,
to be his own person.
yeah.
That's tough. Have you
It's
seen?
a brutal scene, and I love it, but it's just
Oh
two
man,
people
that's
in.
rough. It's so
Yeah,
good though,
yeah,
because that's the heart of the emotional story. Like, that's what
yeah.
I want to know about. Have you seen
Hold on, I'll try
J-Rock's
to find.
sort of like, what if Astro Boy was allowed to grow up and get a new grown-up robot body? Conceptual
No, I
art.
haven't.
Oh, it's very good.
No.
No, they cooked up this whole thing where it was like they had kind of had an Astro Boy AU because they were getting really into Astro Boy stuff for a while there, and they were like, what if um, there was like a backup body that was meant to like this is my son older because you need to grow up at some point.
Uh-huh.
And but Astro Boy was like, it's not my body though. Like I'm used to being me, being this like what looks like a 10-year-old child robot. So I'll try it
Yeah.
out, but it makes me feel real bad being in this body. I don't like it. Um, but then he keeps it around just because sometimes it's easier to relate to humans or if they or relate to
Uh-huh.
adults, especially if they see you as an adult. And then it's like
Uh-huh.
an alternate backup body that he can run at the same time as he's running his other body. So he can sit there and like be in two bodies at once and have like two
Uh,
conversations.
so I sent you a bit with a couple of pages of it.
Good, cool.
Uh, and it's very like, because one of the things that kind of like, the robots aren't allowed to like kill people.
Yeah.
Um, so it kind of talks about like having that um stopping thing, having that uh limitation on them ends up being a thing that like stifles their emotions.
Ah,
So uh like so they can never be like fully human or unless they're allowed to have that entire reign of emotional response.
right.
So to be human, they must be able to commit murder. So
Right.
here's the actual page of the like um Tobio was never good at cleaning his room. His room was always messy. Okay, starting tomorrow I won't clean. Tobio hated studying. Okay, I won't study either. Tobio left the books I bought him on his shelf and never looked at them. Tobio, and then the next page is him being like, probably hated this food too. Do you like me? I love you, Dad. I always scolded Tobio terribly. No doubt Tobio also hated me as well. And just
Man, ouch.
sad times.
Rough. Look at the lighting on that last panel. God, that's gorgeous.
Yeah. And a thing I like that this manga artist does, because he also drew 20th Century Boys, is he
Mm,
only puts one sentence in each panel.
nice. Just to
Um,
really focus.
yeah, on um, people's reactions.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing I always argue with Spike about lettering wise is like this is too many words for a panel.
Right.
Um,
I have to fight myself with that too. I'll write a lot, and then when I go to draw it, I'm like, oh, I should have cut half of this dialogue or more.
or like, see, I just like spread it out over multiple pages, so I am actually
Right.
making my job harder.
Yeah.
Um,
But committing to that, like, I am going to have focused dialogue visually.
Like when I was writing Stone King, I got a bunch of notes back from the editor that Tyler and I hired that was like, hey, you could probably combine these two panels.
And you
And
were like,
I
nope.
just sent a note. Well, I was like, I don't like more than one sentence per panel, but Tyler's the one drawing it. So if he
Wants to not
wants
draw.
to, he can make it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He can do it. Like if he, so I'll just leave it to him.
How do
And
you
the
work
only
that though
time
if
I was
it's
like,
like a conversation where there's like the back and forth is part of the important part?
well, there were a few times where, like, the times where I said it's okay, it's up to Tyler, is when they're like giving exposition.
Right.
Um, so like maybe they're going back and forth, but it's not really an emotional back and forth.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it's more of a we're gonna do this or what about this, like, um, and then there's the um there were times where I was like, no, the this paneling part is important, and it's always when there was like a silent panel. I
Mm-hmm.
love me some silent panels.
Yeah, me too. I like to write them. I like to draw them. I like to read them.
I jokingly tweeted once that like it's a good thing that comics don't have soundtracks, or every time someone was like sad and alone in my comics, you would just hear all by myself.
They kind of do. I've been noticing some of the comics on Webtoons are having like, make sure your sound is on for this one. There's audio. And I'm like,
Oh
what?
no,
What?
no, I'm
Why?
against that.
Is this a thing now? We all putting audio
I thought
in our
no. Here
comics?
it is the kids that are getting on the internet these days weren't old
Kids
enough
these
to know the
days.
horrors of GeoCities, so
Mm-hmm.
they have to relearn this lesson all
They have to
over
relearn our
again.
mistakes, just like
Uh,
they're relearning the mistakes of like high-waisted jeans.
yeah, I'm okay with high waisted jeans.
Oh, I can't stand them. Ugh. But I have a very short torso. My torso is very, very short. So if I have a high-waisted jean, I basically just am just leg all the way up. Here is my grumpy fairy dragon auntie. She's so grumpy and judgmental. Just sorting out how her frill goes, because it can close and sleek down against her neck. I think her eyes are too high on her head on this panel. I'm going to adjust. Yeah, that's better. I knew it looked wrong. There we go. Better. Oh, thanks, Gopher. I can't wait to play her. I think she's going to be fun. She won't talk a lot, because A, I don't want to talk to myself while I'm in character, playing this character. But also, she only speaks Draconic, and the rest of the group, I think only one of them does, are Dragonborn. So they may go off and have a side conversation.
The one time I was playing D&D as the teenage dragonborn,
Good.
um, I named, I offered to pay a dragon in horses to
Good.
eat,
Good.
because we had gotten a bunch of horses as a reward.
Mm.
And then I was naming the horses Pancakes, Apple, like they were all after food.
Good. Good. Because they smell like food. If you're a dragon, delicious horse.
Uh, oh, also today I read dumb Game of Thrones fan theories again.
Oh, good.
The newest one is the Starks are part giant because their sword is so big.
I guess. There's some weird stuff up in the north. It could happen.
I love these stupid fan theories. They're just so dumb. And they'll never get answers to prove them wrong because that
Nope.
book's never coming out.
Nope. I can respect an author who is like, look, I have my boatload of money. I'm
Yeah.
done now. I don't need to do anything else. Writing is hard. I can just stop.
So I have a friend whose mom is a fantasy writer
Mm.
who supposedly was on a forum uh, with George R. R. Martin.
Interesting.
And apparently, right before Game of Thrones came out, he posted. So, what's a thing that's in a lot of best selling fantasy novels?
And what was
And
the answer?
kids that have like animal companion, particularly wolves or dragons, it's
Mm-hmm.
extra good if they have some sort of psychic connection with them.
Yep. There's your Aragons and
Like and
your
it but it was funny because it's like all the stuff that got mentioned is in Game of Thrones.
He was just like, right. Need some shit for my
Got
novel,
it.
folks. Hook me up.
He's like, I'm gonna write a bestseller to make money.
Yep.
Uh,
I mean, he did.
and then peace
Power
out.
to him.
Yep.
Power to him. I don't like his writing, and I know, but there's some other things that he's done that are a little head shaky. But I do like that he hosts the losers banquet at
Mm-hmm.
the awards, where he's like, I'm gonna throw a gala for everyone who lost,
Um,
and winners can't come unless they're specifically invited, and then they have to wear a funny hat.
I
Respect that.
listened to an amateur audiobook of Song of Ice and Fire recently because I did not like the official audiobook.
Mm.
And uh, I have mixed feelings about his writing. There's like stuff I liked about it, but stuff that like I kind of think the show did better.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there's some like interesting things about the way that he writes, but I do think a lot of the time, because it's the limited perspective,
Yes.
we don't actually see the cool shit happen.
No. Which
Um,
is kind of a problem. It's like
yeah.
you're writing up this thing and you're
Uh,
gonna kind of kneecap your punchline. And by punchline, I mean the big action
yeah.
scene that you've been leading up to.
And there was a thread on the Song of Ice and Fire Reddit, that was like, what is a scene that was not in the books or was in the books and you thought the TV show did it better?
Right.
Um, and my answers were, I think the um, Battle of the Blackwater was better in the show, mostly because when the Hound is doesn't want to keep fighting because of all the fire.
Yeah.
Um, I think the actor sold the fear
More.
that
Yeah.
more than George R. R. Martin's writing did.
Yes.
Um, and maybe he would have been able to sell the fear if the Hound was a POV character, but I feel
Mm.
like that's a thing that is better, like being in the character's head for.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Um, and then the scene that was added to the show that's not in the books is in the second season. There's a bit where the throne room's getting redecorated, and Cersei talks to Joffrey.
Oh yeah.
And Joffrey talks about how, hey, so I heard Dad had all these bastards because you couldn't please him in bed, and like basically is extra shitty to Cersei.
Because I mean that's
Um,
what he is.
that's what he is. But
He's
what's
just
great
pure
is
concentrated malice and shittiness.
but what's great is like right after he's his usual shitty self, she slaps him.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then every worker in the hall like goes
It's
quiet
like, nope.
and doesn't know what to do.
Yep. They're like, I'm going to
And
pretend I'm not here
then
now, and I definitely didn't see
yeah,
that.
and they go back to work and they're like, and I'm going to pretend that I didn't see this just
Or
happen.
I will be executed because I
And
saw the
then
king get slapped.
and
And he's
and Joffrey is like, you can never do that again.
yes,
And it's kind of Cersei realizing that she is
overstepped her
losing
bounds now.
power
Yeah, she's
over.
no longer
She's
the mom of this horrible monster. She's going
yeah,
to be an underling to him,
yeah,
and he can have her executed for that.
yeah.
This
Um,
monster she has created. Not
yeah. So
just
I think
gave
like
birth to, but like literally raised to be like this.
yeah. Well, Robert helped.
Yes.
I think that's a thing that the show downplayed is
That Robert
Ro-
contributed to this as well.
Joffrey is just as much as Robert's fault as he is Cersei's.
Cersei's, yeah, for sure. Whereas the show kind of plays it off like he's a Lannister, so he's like this. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Um,
No, his parents were fucked up
Whereas
and fucked him up really good. And that's why he's like
it's
this.
like his dad, because in the books has a lot of things where it's like his dad taught him kings should be bold, and that's why he does like a lot of his exceedingly shitty things.
Mm-hmm.
Is he's trying to be bold, and then obviously his misogyny comes from his dad.
No, for sure.
Um,
All right. It is 10 o'clock, I see.
yeah.
I should start simmering down for bed here. I want to go read my book.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah. And Alina, I'm glad I could tell you about Pluto and
Hell
robot
yes.
feelings.
Hell yes. I do want to check that out now. I am glad I could enthuse to somebody about Cyberpunk because it's been on my mind a lot
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying the story, even if there is still some problems to the game. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
You
We
should
will.
try Cloudplunk when you're done with
I
Cyberpunk.
want to. I also want to go back and
Mhm.
replay the Shadowrun games because they are very
All
good.
right. Cool. Okay.
All right.
Once again, bye everybody. You can find my stuff at kelmcdonald.com.
And I am Alina Pete. You can
Alina.
find my stuff at weargeek.com or alinapete.com. I will be back streaming tomorrow night on a different channel, so watch my Twitter for that.
And I'll be streaming tomorrow more art with my pal Joe.
Sweet.
So
Is it still Squid Takeover tomorrow?
no, so it's basically art start today and Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Squid Takeovers Thursdays.
Ah, cool. Good.
But this Thursday we're gonna play Don't Starve Together. So if
Oh,
you
I
want to
love that
join
game. Nice.
that, we're gonna do that like at like 5 though. So you
Okay.
might be.
Yeah, I might be. I'll see if I can make it work.
Okay.
Definitely want to try the game though at some
I
point.
know.
Cool.
All right.
I will
Bye everyone.
see y'all later.